Hey, this is an overview of this Chappa template that I have in Notion. So I'm just gonna explain the sections. So over here we have the quick links. That is literally self-explanatory. If you want to see any of these items, just click on it and then you'll be presented with those items. We'll go more in depth into each section in just a bit. Over here to the right of that, we have our checklist. So your checklist is literally a to-do list. This has a couple of cool functions and features that I've added in there. We'll talk about that in a moment. Down here we have curriculum blocks, and this is literally going to be where all of your materials and notes and all that stuff is going to be automatically divided into these sections. And then over here you have the material hub. And so this is like, if there's one thing that you really want to be comfortable with using, it is definitely this section, because what's going to be happening is you'll be inputting your materials, and that will automatically throw them out to either the blocks or like some of these quick links. So if there's something that you need to like get familiar with, it is the material hub. And then just to kind of finish off this general overview, we have miscellaneous items, so questions. So like for me, if I have like a question during the reading or during the, like while I'm reviewing something, I'll write them here and then get them asked. And so you can click on it and you can see like you can write some questions here. I'll go back and then I have resources. So for example, like if you actually take notes on Notion and want to export them to Anki, like there's this cool website that actually helps facilitate that. And then this is just the textbook link with like all the PDFs. So I'm going to go back here. And then upload. So like if let's say you have a good notes or notability document and you want to just upload it to basically the Chappa Notion page, you'll just select Notion and then it will kind of upload it here, and then you can kind of drag it to wherever it should be. All right, so with that in mind, let's talk about the material hub. There is one section that you want to be proficient in. It is the material hub section, because this is again where you're putting everything in, and it is automatically sending it to its respective section. So before I actually jump into the table, I want to talk about what this actually is. So it's in a table, and this table is literally a database, and you can actually change the type of views you have and all those cool functions we can talk about in a bit. But let's kind of hop in, do a general like how this kind of works so you understand it, and then we could do like specific examples and look at the other views that you can have. So this is a table database, and the most important thing you want to know about that is where do I add more information and how does that work. So down here you have that plus sign, it says new. We're going to click on it. When we click on it, it's going to ask us for a title and basically all this information. So let's say we had another farm lecture, and then I'll hit enter, and then now I'm just going to go and do these tabs. So you can do it with your mouse or your trackpad, but it is definitely quicker if you're using like your keyboard. So like I'll go here and just kind of like click, but for video purposes and to actually get the clicks to actually show up, I am going to be clicking. So anyways, so as you can see, I filled in what week we were in, right? So we have like the weeks, I have the years, what type. So type and block will be your most important sections in this section. So what type is it? So is it a lecture note? Is it objective or whatnot? So this is actually a lecture note, we said. So I'll change that to lecture note. And then what block is it in? So you see we have a few blocks. And then down here is media. I actually don't fill this out until like I'm done, just to kind of see like what kind of media. You actually don't have to fill this out, and you can even hide this section if you don't want it. But it's really up to you. And then this is status. So like, are you currently doing it like in progress, or is it complete or whatnot? So again, another section that you do not have to have. The ones again that are the most important ones are really going to be like your week, years, type, and block. Okay. So let's see what happened. So I said that this farm lecture was in the summer immersion block. So if I click up here, you can see it's auto-populated already. So I already have that. Let me actually go here. So this is my inbox. This is where all the notes is. But you'll see that farm lecture that I added is already there, which is pretty cool and saves a lot of time. So, and then you could just to double check, we'll go into HEME, and you can see there's nothing in here because we haven't added anything for that block yet. All right, so that's like pretty much how you add stuff. So now let's, I guess, talk about where you're putting your notes and all that. So I can open up this page right here, and when you open it up, you'll see it opens up in this kind of window. And one thing I want to point out is anytime you see these two arrows, it just means open as a full page, which literally just means like you get more space. And I actually want to go back just a moment back to this table, and you can see that icon right over here as well. So even a database I can open as a full page, and in case you're on your iPad or something like that, just something a little bit smaller, you can actually expand it so you can see everything on your screen. So to go back, you can kind of click the go back button right here, or you can click this, which is the home page name, so whatever you want. So the back button really functions kind of like how you would use like Safari or Chrome. So you guys should be familiar with that. Anyways, I'm going to go back into my farm lecture, and I'm going to open this as a page, and I'm going to go ahead and do a full page just to make it easier for me. Now you'll see I can press enter and basically start typing, and it'll just be a blank page. Or there actually are a few templates that I've generated for, I guess, my preferences. So again, we said this was lecture, so we can click on lecture and you'll see that it changes the format and it already adds some stuff in. So usually for lectures, we have pre-work, learning objectives, and lecture notes. Now, if let's say I don't have any pre-work, I will just kind of delete that section. And then with learning objectives, I don't actually house them here. I actually have them in their own separate file. But what I do is I create a link to that learning objective, if that makes sense. And again, we'll do a specific example with this. This is really kind of like how I prefer to use Notion, just to kind of stay organized. And because like theoretically, you could just have farm lecture and literally all you need is lecture notes. Just so you guys know, see these 6 dots. If you click on it, you can delete, you can duplicate, you can see this function right here, turn into. So like, let's say you wanted a heading, like a smaller heading, or a to-do list, bulleted list, or some kind of toggles and whatnot. So I can kind of show you guys the toggle feature real quick while we're in this page. So I'll hit toggle, and literally all it is like, you could write maybe a question here and then you can answer it. And so what's nice is I can close this, and then if I want to see the answer, open it right back up. Anyways, I'm going to click on these 6 dots again, and I'm just going to delete it for now. But what I was trying to say is, you could just have your lecture notes here. Now, I personally do not put lecture notes. I don't type my lecture notes into Notion. I actually use PowerPoint, and I'll do a separate video on how to use like PowerPoint on your Mac, so you can type in the notes section, and then PowerPoint on your iPad so that you can actually draw on it. And then I'll talk about how I export it and then just basically put it into here. So yeah, that's pretty much it. If you want to type your notes here, you can. I am not the biggest fan of note taking in Notion. It's more like for me, it's just an organizational hub. But I will say for like reading and stuff like that, I will take notes there, just not lecture. Okay, so I'm gonna go back. So again, here now you can see like I am currently nested in the farm lecture page, right? With like all my lecture notes here. You can actually do bullets as well. So there's a lot of fun features here. Anyways, I'm nested in this section, but if I click on Material Hub, it's going to take me back to that bigger page or the data page of the Material Hub. And then if I want to go back to my home page, I'm going to hit the home page name Chapa. Again, you could just use the back button as well. So, yeah. So that is how you add stuff. So again, it's pretty self-explanatory, and I'll kind of show it to you guys in practice. But yeah, that was the Material Hub. Now let's actually talk a little more about the other views that I was talking about. So here you see PAS1 and S2. So what's nice about that is if I click on it, so let's say I want to see like all the material from PAS1, I can literally see that in one section. And then same thing with PAS2. I don't have anything in there right now, so you're not seeing anything. But basically all these tables and databases can have different types of views. So that's pretty much it. And just so you guys know, like if you have a PDF or like any kind of file, you can always like create a title and then classify everything, just kind of as I did just a moment ago. and hit open as page and just drop your files here. Again, like just doing that alone will help you stay organized, especially like, when you're studying for your block exams, and or like it's year 2 and you want to review your notes on GIGU or whatnot. So yeah, that's pretty much it there. Next, let's actually jump into the calendar, and I can kind of explain that section a little bit. So again, this is your checklist right here. You'll see that there's like filters and sorts. That literally, like, when you guys are like shopping online, you can filter and sort by stuff. That's literally what this means. And they could be pretty nifty and come in handy. So right now, whenever you see them blue, it just means that there are some filters. You guys really, I made it so that you guys don't have to like mess with the filters, but like as you like understand Notion more and or like are learning more, you can kind of play with them and just make them more customizable and usable for your needs. So right now, the current filters, I believe, is just it's prioritizing the list by due dates, and then anything that becomes checked is going to be removed from your list. So you don't have to like worry about that. So, and then if these bother you, you can just hit filter and it just hides them. But again, the filters are still working, just so you guys know. It's just for like your, I guess, aesthetics. Anyway, so we have a to-do list, and the first thing I want to bring your attention to is those arrows again. I love these arrows because then I could just see a lot more information. So I'm going to click on this, and it's going to open as a full page. In here, kind of hide again the filters, but in here you see I have to-do, calendar, and status. Now this is the same thing. Like if I go back to the Chappa template, I have to-do, calendar, and status. I can click on calendar, it's going to show me my calendar. I can click on status, it's going to show me all the statuses. I don't know. Okay, anyways, so I'll go back into full page. And so the reason I actually like full page is, yes, I could see more, but I really like it in the calendar view. So I can get all this information in here. And then, yeah, that's pretty much it. And I can show you guys my, I can actually show you guys my current to-do list. So this is like mine. Again, I'll go in here to see like more stuff. And then, so you can kind of see, I can kind of talk about, I guess, all this. Let me just remove one of my filters. So like I said, once you become more comfortable with the filters, you can kind of change it. So I actually have this additional filter that filters it by like, I'll always like manually edit it. So like, do I want it like, by Saturday, what do I have to do or whatnot? So I'll do the end of the month for now. So the 31st, so you can see I have a lot more. Yeah, that's pretty much it. And then if I go back to my homepage, you'll see like it takes more space. So that's actually one reason why I do use, like I'll do it by like weekly or something. So anyways, let's talk about the sections and how to add. So the first thing, how do you add something? We're going to click the plus sign down here. And so now you can add whatever the task is. And whoops, let me fix something. I'll just turn this off so it's like yours. Actually, let me just describe mine, and then I'll go back into the, because I've done a couple of tweaks on mine just to kind of customize it for what I needed. But anyways, so you'd hit the new button, and then you can see like I filled out the task. So just name your task, when is the due date, and then the status. So the status will be like, have you started or not? And so I have a couple of sections: to do, in progress, and complete. These ones are set, like the 3 sections are actually set by Notion. You can't edit it, but you can edit like how you describe your item. So for me, like if I have an idea, like I didn't write anything down, but I got an idea, I'll just do idea. And I know that it's still something that I haven't really started. It's just so like, I guess for myself. But you can just use not started, and then planning, interview, progress, whatever you guys want. I added submitted because like some items we like upload to Canvas, I guess. I don't know. But I'll just like hit submitted once I've like uploaded it, I guess, and then I'll check it off, and then it'll disappear. So I'll kind of change that back. The next one is this cool function that's going to show you, it's just going to tell you, like these 2 functions are actually pretty nifty because they tell you, is it due today or in the future, or is it overdue? And then there's also like a countdown. So this is a good example because so anything this was due July 11th, it's currently July 12th. So this was 2 days overdue. So it's kind of like nice to actually like see these numbers, for me at least. And then if something's due today, it's going to be like in blue. And then anything in the future, we'll have this and then tell you like basically your countdown, like how many days you have to complete it. I also have this common section and this personal due date. So like, for example, the project presentations that we have on our countries, with those, like my group's meeting for lunch on the 18th. So personally, I would like to have my assignment done by July 17th. And so that's kind of like how I use that. These sections, again, you can actually hide them, and you don't really need them if you don't want to use them. But yeah, and then I love the calendar view. So I'll go in calendar, and kind of like everything is basically laid out. And so you guys can see that I've already added like my midterm tests. So I'm hoping to knock out a couple today, a couple this weekend. And yeah, that's pretty much like how I stay organized and set deadlines and dates for myself aside from the ones they give us. And then this tab right here, status, is literally just going to break everything into like your status sections. So like anything that's not started, I could see all these items. Anything in the idea stage or the in progress stage, I can actually see that information. So again, it is the same information in this to-do list. It's just different views. And you'll see that same practice in even the blocks and whatnot. So we'll talk about that in just a moment. But let's go back, and here I will click on CHAPA. And then, yeah, so this is my checklist, and usually I'll basically make it so that I don't have like a million things listed.